Hello everyone, SirMonkeySuit here back again with Hunter x Hunter. We have reached the final fucking episode until they decide to continue on with it at some point in like the next 5,000 years. I don't know. But as of right now, it's the fucking final episode. So we've finally done it. It's been close to coming up to a year now when I started this, doing 4 episodes a week. And yeah, it's been a hell of a ride. Been a hell of a fucking ride. It's been the longest show that I've ever done. The longest running show. So it's going to feel weird after this one. But yeah, I mean, everybody that we know, all of our characters are all split up and doing their own different things right now. And it's time for Gon to go speak to his dad, all alone atop the world tree. So yeah, I'm not even going to say anything else. I don't think we need to. We're just going to get into this final episode. So yeah, for the final time, unless they decide to continue the show, let's get into this episode and see what it wants to offer us. Let's go. That's it. That's it. That's it. Man. It's like I'm not ready to give it up, you know. But there's nothing I can do. There's nothing else. There's nothing. There's nothing. No. Fuck. Okay. Some stuff there in the end, which was revealed as a great sort of takeaway, even though, like, I am satisfied with how it wrapped up. I think it wrapped up great. So yeah, the people that said that you don't have to worry about how it ends because it doesn't end abruptly. Like, it ends at a good point. If there was, it seems like realistically, like, of course there are things that, that could obviously be tied up with future, with a future story and stuff. But I think, like, as a whole, this as a complete story is kind of good as it is. So it's good in that regard because it means that it just hasn't ended at a stupid point where you're just like, what happens now? But but as having just a complete story there as is from episode 1 to now is great. It's fantastic. It's really, really fantastic show. So, but yeah, some of those stuff in the end's like it gives that sort of little bit of a tease of what could, what is going forward. But the yeah, I mean, I guess we'll just start from the very beginning, or at least sort of at the beginning, because I didn't write down anything in, like, the first half of the episode. But Jean wanted to enter originally a royal family's sort of tomb, in a way, and that's kind of how it started. But then, like, realising, like, once he's going out, I mean, it all started really, the idea is that he wants to just go and explore and sort of just go into that sort of unknown. But the royal family tomb thing came up, and he ended up creating a non-profit organisation for that to get it sort of to repair it and keep it as like a sort of like a sanctuary type place with this non-profit organisation, which obviously does go back because I remember back, and I'm sure it is when Sato is talking to Gon, and I think that's what he brings up, right? And the reason why Sato admires him so much is because he chose to do that like out of his own accord and not gain anything really from it, like he never got anything back for himself. So yeah, I remember that. But everything that he's saying there is that the treasure is the like, you go on ahead with this as sort of your like goal, just going on off into the unknown, into different places and stuff. But it's the things like that along the way, like, the real treasure is like the relationships that you make along the way, which just makes sense because that's what pretty much Gon was all about, like it all ties in everything with the election when you're seeing all of these faces like crop up from like the show, you know what I mean? And like, it kept bringing back like those characters and stuff, and it even did it for us in the very end of that episode there in the final, where it basically goes through everything there. However, it did not show Hisoka, so fuck you, show, for that. Bastard. I guess it's supposed it kind of works in a way. It's like, it's Hisoka. He's unpredictable, so he's not going to be there, even though you would expect him to be. But Anyway, yeah, I mean, it went through. I went through like some of them. The big things there were Meruem and Komugi. I love the fact that they went back to their and they didn't have to show us everything, just the hands together, and the two. I like to think that Komugi placed those two Gungi pieces there. I think it would be because when they were playing, Meruem was the one that went first, right? Because he'd obviously been exposed to it the most. So obviously he went first, and then Komugi just sat there until she eventually went, which again is sad. And that was the one time in the show, like that specific episode was the one where I broke down and I almost couldn't function afterwards for that. So that was a big thing. I like the fact that they showed just that, and I think Komugi I think put the martial and spy pieces there, which is nice. So there was that. Goto. What on earth? I don't know, because they put it in the credits where there's no dialogue or anything. You're just supposed to take everything from a visual cue. So he's meant to be dead. Killua hasn't been told yet. That's what I took from is it Amine who's like brought up thingy. Like I'm guessing the inclination was, does Killua know? And then Canary was like, no, he doesn't. And then Goto came out from behind the thing, and he was a fucking bollocks. Got to get out the fucking old book for this one, because it was like in the very bloody. It was at the very beginning, wasn't it? It was like episode 3, Zaban City. Oh god, fucking hell! Is it episode 3? Or is it episode 2? A Kiriko. Is that what it is? Yeah. He was a Kiriko. Now, I don't know if he was actually a Kiriko or there's so much shit here, because I don't know. It could be the fact that he was a Kiriko all along. It could be that he was never a Kiriko, and a Kiriko acted like Hisoka killed it. Or Kiriko could have literally died. I don't know. It could be either one of those things. Fucking hell, I wasn't expecting that, man, in the end. And then we got the reveal of Kurapika and what he's doing. He's in this little like sanctuary that looks like it's in York New City. I thought he went back with an Australia family. He could be, I suppose. I guess it's just a city, isn't it? But yeah. So because he said he was going to go around and collect all of the eyes, isn't it? That's why there was a red glow when we first saw it. Because of that. Fuck. Oh, there's something like really badass about that. But it makes sense why he doesn't answer the fucking. Because he doesn't answer his phone. Because now he's in that sort of place. He's in a dark place, really, isn't he? Like, not literally. Well, yes, literally as well. But, like, you get what I mean. Psychologically and mentally, he's in a dark place. And I think it's almost like it's the more that he gets, the more he goes down that route. Like, the more sort of vengeful he gets, I feel like. That's what it seems like to me, anyway. That he just wants to go through this alone and just be fucking, in a way, it's almost like, I feel like, of course, on one hand, he doesn't want his friends to, he doesn't want to rely on his friends and bring them into this sort of trouble. But also, I think, selfishly, maybe because of it, with the red eyes and stuff, it is hard, to control them. So I wonder, if on that thing, it's just like, I on the other hand, I don't want them stopping me from trying to kill the Phantom Troop, So I feel like it's like a dark fucking thing for Kurapika. And yeah, that's... Oh, man. It's badass him just sitting there, though. Just looking at them, Fucking hell. He's got a lot now. He's got a lot. It makes me wonder if he's like left an Estrade thing now, if he's not a part of that anymore, and he's just doing his own thing now. But he has to be. Doesn't he have to be a part of an organization in order to do this, like, legally, like to have authorization to do this? I feel like he has to, right? He can't just do it freelance. Otherwise he'll end up becoming a criminal or whatever and whatnot. I think anyway. By the commandments, I think that's right. I could be wrong though. But yeah, there was that, and yeah, no Hisoka. Fucking damn it. Fucking damn it. Killua and Aluka are in like fucking somewhere we haven't seen before, big crystal place. It reminds me of Unlimited Blade Works. Like that place. That's what it reminds us of. Like, it's just a vast, almost nothingness with these things jutting out of the, of course, Unlimited Blade Works is like weapons and stuff as opposed to crystals, but cool anyway. And then Leorio's just studying and whatnot. Oh. But yeah, I mean, other than that, yeah, so then we had Jean and going and having that sort of fatherly son thing where they're just talking to each other about like their stories and whatnot and what they've been through, and it was nice to see. But Jean basically, given the whole thing of like aliens and stuff, the ants are not from here, so the ants are a completely different thing, like from off this planet. But he was talking about how the world tree is actually a sapling, and if it continued growing to get to full size, it would eventually just get into space off planet, whilst feeding it from its root system. God, it's crazy. Fucking hell, it's a sapling. It's just nuts. So yeah, I mean, he was talking about how I think he said 4, there's like records of 4 people that have managed to get out into space and explode out there. I don't know if there's any mention of how well they did. Like, is there any note of them communicating back with this planet? Or did they just... Because theoretically they could go out into space and then just die, you know? Like, I don't know. I don't know how much science they really know about space up there, and also if it's the same as our world, like our life. I don't know if it's the same as real life where the same things apply. I don't know if they know. I don't know if they have a radiation belt thing that they need to account for, you know, because radiation clearly fucks up people in Hunter world, because it did so to with the bomb and stuff with Meruem and that. So I don't know if there's any records of them like coming back to Earth or whatever. Also, how do they get off? I didn't go into fucking thing as well. Like, they need what? The 4 things that they need is authorization, the means to do so. They needed a contract. I don't know if that's a literal one or a one to do with their nen. And then there was something else. There was something else. What are you? It's over here, isn't it? Because it's obviously after he's talking about the fucking... Yeah, so he says authorization, the means to do, like the means, qualification. What does that mean? What do you mean, qualification? Like, qualification is in like the qualifications to, like, a science qualification? Like, do you need to know the like, do you need to take an examination to get a fucking grade in that kind of qualification? A qualification through they only send people up like a certain amount, or like you need to be the winner or something, and all in that kind of qualification. I don't know. Fuck. But he hasn't received any of them, so he doesn't have the means, which I assume is a rocket up there. But then with Nen, I don't know. You could just fucking God knows. A contract, yeah, like I said, is it the one with your nen, or is it the with your aura and stuff, or is it an actual legitimate contract, the same as like doing a contract for the World Tree to climb it? And then authorization, which I don't know. I guess the hunter license isn't enough for that, so you need something else. Because Gene says he hasn't got any of them, so I suppose there's nobody even going to look at the thing that's like when Gene says like, oh, we're just part of a bigger world kind of thing, like where those are cracking and stuff, because I'm sure it doesn't really matter. Like, it's not like an actual representation of what is actually out there within here, but more just like it brought up like myths and legends and stuff and things that, you know, are out, like you would consider outerworldly because they're so fantastical and things. But in Hunter x Hunter world, a giant fucking kraken thing wouldn't be that mystical to me. You know, it's like, well, it just is. You know, it's fucking, you know, but we've dealt with other shit. So yeah, I mean, that, yeah, that's pretty much, that's what I've got written down. That's the end of that. That's the fucking end of that. God damn it. It'd be great, wouldn't it, if like, I don't know, when do they normally have like an event or a festival where they, you know, like E3 for games and stuff, where they announce, like, where there's a lot of announcements for shows and anime and stuff? Because it'd be great whenever that happens, if it's just like Hunter x Hunter's continuing. Though I've already asked about, you know, where would they get up to in terms of how much manga stories written, and it wouldn't be that much. I think the guy said it would be about 25 episodes. Probably not worth it then. So we'll still be waiting a while if the animation does continue. But yeah, I mean, that's all I've got. So it's been a fucking great journey. I've really fucking enjoyed this show. You know, I it's something that I need to go through again and just enjoy in my own time. You know, so yeah, I'm looking forward to doing that. And getting through this again. Because it's just it's fantastically well written, and the characters are always great. So, you know, it's just going to be interesting to see things from a different perspective, knowing what's kind of coming up. It means I can search for things that I may not have noticed the first time. You know, which is always a thing with reacting to stuff, is like the struggle's always like, you know, if I miss something, it's so incredibly apparent to the people that are watching, because you know, when you've watched something before, you're watching a reaction to gauge their reaction to something. So if they miss something that you already know about, it can be infuriating. You know, and I'm sure I've done that before in you know, in this show. I've got to have done it fucking hell at least once. You know, in other things as well. But you know, that comes with the territory. You know, the whole point of reaction is your first impression of something, and it's impossible to get everything first try. So, you know, but you know, of course, like, everybody wants you to know everything about the show. You know, so going back through it again, you know, I'll have a different perspective on a hell of a lot of different things, and I'll probably have different sort of just I think about things a hell of a lot differently. I think the one thing that I did have a real, like, I say, like, I had a real problem with was the Shia Poof stuff, but you know, I talked about that back then. Was like, I feel like it actually did make sense in accordance. I thought it was well done after the fact. During it, when I was in it, it was a bit, you know, I felt it was a bit iffy. But at the end, coming to the conclusion of the whole thing, and in hindsight, it was actually done well. So yeah, across the whole board, like, I really like the show. So yeah, I'm happy to have gone through it. I'm happy to have been able to react to it first time for all of you guys. So, you know, I hope you enjoyed the journey as well. Of course, you know, like, this is just, you know, patrons listen to this. Well, you know, yeah. People who are on YouTube will not be listening to this until a fucking quite a ways down, further into this year. Put it that way. You know, so I'm sure they'll enjoy, especially what's going on now with the Chimera and stuff, because that's getting uploaded now for the public. So yeah, but that is all I've got. So that frees up Monday and Friday. I know what shows are being used up for those. It's not going to be a one show thing like Hunter x Hunter was for like the 2 days. So it's not going to be 4 episodes of everything of like this like of one show every week. It's going to be 2 shows split into 2 episodes for each day kind of thing, you know. So I mean, you'll find out what that is on Friday, I believe. I may actually sort of postpone it to the Monday because I obviously, you know, just for patrons, I need to obviously transfer a lot of stuff over to Dailymotion things. So it's better to just have alleviate a lot of the time that I put into reacting to these and getting them uploaded and stuff, and actually putting that time into getting previous stuff and transferring them over. So if I can get just an extra day of that, it's just going to help out in the long run. So obviously the first episode of the new show that will start on Monday, that'll go out for the general public, for everybody, and then episode 2 will be early access. So, you know, if you want to go and wait to see what that is, then you can do. But yeah, I mean, thank you everyone for, you know, who's been on this journey with me, because it's been a fucking long one and a great one, and I enjoyed every single second of it. So thank you everyone for watching. In the description below, these are obviously for the YouTubers, not their patrons anymore. I have a few links to certain things. So Discord, you can get yourself over there if you want. If you have any questions regarding this show or anything like that, you can come talk to me over on there. I also have a Patreon page as well. So if you do want to support me on Patreon, that'd be very much appreciated. There is a bunch of different tiers and rewards there, depending on how much you want to support me with. So there's the early access tier for $5 a month. That gives you access to shows a week early. There's also the $10 there for full length. So if you don't want to watch any of these shows in full length, then you can do by going over and becoming a full length tier patron, and it'll be uncut. And then there are other tiers where you can pay to have a certain show reacted to. So if you want me to react to a show, then go have a look at those tiers and see what they offer. But finally, thank you everybody for watching, and I shall see you all next time. Bye bye.